For many people, RVing would not be economically possible if it wasn't for Thousand Trails. Thousand Trails, whether it's the camping pass or the full-blown membership, allows you to pay a fixed cost and a yearly recurring charge that makes it economic to stay at campgrounds with full utility hookups for your RV. And the cheapest package they have is the camping pass, which is $600 per year. And if you divided that by 12 months, that's $50 a month. Now, you'd have to move quite often with that lowest grade entry pass. You can get a membership for a few $1,000s and then just pay $600 a year, like surcharge. But whether you got the smallest pass or you got a membership, again, for many people, that supplements the RV lifestyle, because a campground can cost anywhere between $30 to $50 per night. And if it's $30 to $50 per night, you know, that's anywhere between $900 to $1,500 a month. The average rent in America is $1,200 a month. And rent, you know, comes with all your amenities there. You don't have to move. Your landlord takes care of the maintenance. So the RV lifestyle is not cheap and not easy if you don't have a place to park. And many people, especially on the lower economic scale of the RV community, without the Thousand Trails, whether camping pass or membership, they would not be able to afford a campground. They would not be able to afford the campground fees and live on the road. Now, there are some cheap RV parks that you can get, you know, for $500 or so a month, but they're usually very low quality, bad community, low end. Certainly on the West Coast mainly, there's a lot of rural area where you can boondock, camp for free on public lands, but they're in the middle of nowhere, so you'd almost have to be retired, and if you were working remotely, it's very challenging to get internet. Many people need the full utility hookups or need to be by a populated area or want to be and want to travel with those amenities. But those amenities come at a cost. And like I say, the average campground is $30 to $50 per night. And again, that'll range anywhere between $900 to $1,500 per month, more than the average rent in America. And that doesn't even include the cost of your RV, whether you buy an old one and pay for it cash, or whether you're going to finance it and have a payment of $500 or $1,000 a month. Easily, the RV lifestyle, without any other thing, can cost $2,000 a month up. And that doesn't even include like your food, your insurances, your, you know, everyday expenses of life. And so many people supplement the cost of the RV lifestyle through this camping membership, the Thousand Trails. And there's many videos that break the details down, and many videos that even for those who don't like the Thousand Trails, they recognize that it's the most value, the most economic out of every camping pass in the United States of America. But if you took that away, or if they use their pricing power and incrementally charge more and more and more. And I know last year, like they went from charging $200 a year extra for the Trails collection to $300, a 50% increase for an extra add-on package. So it's still very economic. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think about how dependent many RVers are, especially in the United States of America, on the Thousand Trails. Many people make videos and say, without Thousand Trails, I couldn't afford to live this lifestyle. What if Thousand Trails? Thousand Trails, I believe, is Equity Lifestyle. That's the corporation. It's a publicly traded corporation. You know, I don't think it can happen. Well, I don't think it would happen anytime soon, but anything can happen if they decide to repackage their portfolio or again, charge more. There's not much you can do. And if that is your only way you're able to live this lifestyle, it's something you have to, you know, you're solely dependent on that. That's interesting. You have to think, what if they weren't available? You know, what would you do? Would you have to buy a home base? You certainly, even a state park is like $30 a night in most areas. So, you know, would you want to pay $900 a month? Would you stay at a cheap RV park for $500 a month? So if you're going to get an RV, okay, whether it's a travel trailer or motorhome, one major question you have to ask yourself is, how are you going to afford the camping expenses? Because you have to park it somewhere. You know, you have to park it somewhere. And you have to give that serious thought with your budget, with the economics of the entire lifestyle. Because if not, then you are just in the rat race again, but instead of having an appreciating house, you have a depreciating RV and you got nowhere to park it. So I think at any time, look, guys, Thousand Trails can pull the rug right under your legs. I think the Thousand Trails Camping Pass is great value. I think some of the memberships are value. I don't see any changes coming up, but I just think it's interesting that there's so much dependence on it. And that without that, people are screwed. So just give it some thought, because I always like to prepare myself and other people for an exit strategy. And you can't plan for everything, but it's good to just give some thought. You know, because I think any time in life where you depend on one thing so heavily, if that thing is no longer there, how hard would it be for you? And for many RVers, they've made videos and they say we couldn't live this lifestyle without the Thousand Trails. So that's what's on my mind, you know, for the nomad community, for people thinking about living in an RV, especially a big one that they're going to need campgrounds for. And that's why a lot of times I still lean with the car or van living, because there's more flexibility, less amenities, though, when you live in a car and van. And as you get older, I think you need more comforts. But it's a comprehensive way that you have to look at the nomadic lifestyle and you have to run the numbers, because humans are very emotional. And when you go on an RV lot, it's emotional. When you want to sell your house and live a magical life of traveling, it's emotional. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what joy is. That's what inspiration is. It's emotion. But you have to tie it in with some logic, some planning, and some research and exit strategies. You know, if you say 3 years on the road, what would one thing that I say everyone should at least give some thought to is, what's your exit strategy? Because you may not ever want to use your exit strategy because you may not see it as a better option, but you should at least know or have some idea on what you would do if you needed to change things up. And again, if you depend so much on Thousand Trails, I don't know, you know, again, I don't see them going anywhere. And they've been very helpful in my experience, even during the pandemic. And a lot of RVers got disgusted and they bought a home base. I think emotionally, I think that may come back to bite them, especially years. But who knows? I mean, no one knows the future. But I'm making this video to expose the fact that there's some people so dependent on one publicly traded company, Equity Lifestyle, aka Thousand Trails, and their camping amenities, that if that wasn't there, I think they would be destitute and you would have an issue. So, you know, hopefully this spurs something in your mind to give some thought, to put some research and some planning into an alternate life. And there's not an easy solution. And there's no one answer, but just good to think about some of the stuff. So if you appreciate this video, I appreciate if you click the thumbs up. Thank you to all my members. I appreciate your love and support. I'll see you later on tonight, God willing. Every day I go live on this channel. If you'd like to support the channel and have access to the live chats, click that blue join button. And see you guys in the next video. All right? Peace.